We are live 364 days a year. What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube. Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan. Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
How do you not get 50 after Monday Night Raw?
Good evening from Swansea, wrestling fans. I am your host, Ben Allison, and you are watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast on a day where the first ever WrestleMania outside of North America has been announced, because that is right, it is now official. WrestleMania 43 will be taking place in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And this news, it is huge. It is undeniably huge, and we are going to be getting into all of that and quite a bit more as well. But before we do, I have to introduce today's panel. Let's kick things off with Dez. How are you, Dez?
I'm doing good, Ben. Thank you guys so much for having me on the show. Major news just broke out an hour ago. Lots to talk about. Let's get to it.
Absolutely. And also, we are going to be joined by Shad in just a little bit as well. And I'm sure that he's got a lot of thoughts about this today. But without further ado, let's get into it. WrestleMania 43, it's been announced by Triple H. He revealed that it will be in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The first time WrestleMania has ever taken place outside of North America. Of course, it did take place once before in Canada, but never outside of North America. And a lot of people feel a lot of ways about this, right? Because a lot of people, including myself, wanted the first ever WrestleMania outside of North America to be in London. But let's face it, that's not what's happened here. But I am just going to say this. I am seeing a lot of comments saying that, oh, they've just gone to Saudi because they were the highest bidder. Are people not aware that they have gone to the state, which has been the highest bidder for the last 15 years plus? This isn't anything new. It's now just a different country. And those fans in Saudi Arabia, they are so passionate. They truly are, especially now compared to like 5 years ago. It is crazy. And I think they do deserve a WrestleMania. But not only that, we all know WWE's second largest fan base is in India. They get like almost 50 million views there weekly. It is absolutely incredible. And now that is only going to be a 3-hour flight away from India. I mean, look, a lot of people are going to be attending this WrestleMania as the first ever WrestleMania event which they have attended. They have dreamed of attending one, and now they can. So look, are there certain things you can say? Absolutely. Are there certain negatives? Yes. Are there certain questions we're going to have to ask? Yes. But at the end of the day, am I really happy for all of these fans? Absolutely. We got Sandy Jackator over on Instagram saying it sucks. Feel bad for the women's wrestlers. The women's wrestlers are going to be competing, right? We've seen the last few events. They have the exact same amount of matches that they have on a normal WWE PLE. And of course, that should go up more. There's no denying about that. But it's not going to make any difference the amount of time that women get to wrestle, or at least it shouldn't, that is for sure. But this is really exciting for all those fans in Asia. And I'm going to be honest, part of me wants to attend it just to experience a different culture as well. So I do think overall this is a positive. But Dez, I want to get your thoughts on this. How are you feeling about it all?
Honestly, you've already seen all negativity online. For me now, it's like one of those things before where I was like, man, I really don't feel the greatest about it because there's a lot of reasons for it. But now it's like, you know what? We're here. We just got to accept it, right? We can't change the past. It's going to happen. Might as well just have like the best time with it, right? The same way I feel about this, it has nothing to do with wrestling, but the World Cup, right? World Cup 2022, it was in Qatar. I obviously wasn't the biggest fan of it, right? And guess what? It turned out becoming one hell of a tournament. So maybe this can follow the same formula and be a really good WrestleMania. like you mentioned, India, huge fan base across the globe, not that far away from Saudi Arabia. In terms of attendance, this could potentially be like the highest attendance for any WrestleMania in history, simply because of that reason alone. I'm very curious, though, of how many people from the States are going to want to travel there. I know you just said that you want to be there to experience the atmosphere, which is totally fair. I'm really interested to see, though, how many people from the US are going to also make the travel there. But like I said, it is what it is. Just got to make the most of it. And for the Middle East fans, I am actually really happy for you guys. You guys earned it, so make the best out of it.
Absolutely, there is no denying that. And you just mentioned it as well about, fans traveling over. And I do think a lot of people are going to, but even if they don't, I think they can sell this out easily just from fans in Asia because there is so much interest in it. And you mentioned the Qatar World Cup. And I do think there were certain differences with that one in terms of, stadiums were being built for the event and those stadiums weren't being built in the best of ways. There were genuine, controversies about it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if you know this. There's a petition to take the World Cup off the US. And that's actually now got more signatures than the one to take it away from Qatar got. So it's clearly, some people feel that way whenever it goes to, different cultures and stuff. But at the end of the day, I do think this is going to be a massive, massive positive. And Fernando says most Americans are not going to Saudi Arabia to watch Mania. And yeah, I agree, most won't. But you don't need them to, right? It's a different place. And at the end of it, there's going to be a lot of Indian fans there. We got Shiva over on the Instagram comments saying India goes crazy for WWE. Absolutely. And look, it's a 3-hour flight. And I actually looked at flight costs. The flight costs are actually really cheap. You can get some tickets for under £200. So, I mean, that would be like,
that's
what, $230, $240 American dollars? So, I mean,
around there.
At the end of the day, the money, I don't think is going to be that much of an issue to fly from India to Saudi Arabia. So I do think this is going to be a huge thing for fans all around that continent. And I do obviously think some fans do have an issue with it. But Shad, you have now arrived, and I want to get your thoughts on this entire situation because it is now official. WrestleMania 43, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, man, I'm very excited for this to happen. I know a lot of people have conflicting thoughts and whatnot. To me, I feel like when you go international, you think about a lot of what Triple H said, and it's the global aspect of the WWE. And you think about all the fans internationally that are just massive WWE fans, and it gives them an opportunity to see the Super Bowl, see the biggest spectacle of professional wrestling. And that to me, we've talked about how big time all these international crowds are. When they go to the UK, when they go to France, Saudi is nothing short of that, man. This crowd has been amazing. Like they make it an electric feel. They love every aspect of what comes within the show. And now you give them an opportunity to get the biggest show of pro wrestling in their country and to see all the, little boys, girls, people our age, adults, grown folk get an opportunity to see that, man. It makes me happy. I know, like I said, there's a lot of underlying stuff towards Saudi, that's not to be, undermined, a lot of political stuff and whatnot. But this is kind of the game that we expected it to be in the WWE once they came into TKO. TKO does a lot of great UFC cards out in Dubai, out in the Middle East. And obviously this coming weekend, we hate, this Saudi team has given us a big time boxing match for tomorrow with Crawford and Canelo. So, it gives an opportunity for them to make a lot of profit, which is always good for a company, for the industry. I hope the talent are paid handsomely. I hope they get paid the biggest bag they can ever get. And I'm hyped for it, man. I think it's gonna be fun. I think the budding joke of what these crown jewel shows is so far removed, Ben. Like I feel like they've done a great job setting up these shows the last couple years where like Night of Champions, They haven't given us the callbacks, but they've given us the talent that we watch on a weekly basis, and I can only imagine what they're gonna have in store for it. So yeah, man, it's gonna be exciting.
I said it in the reel I posted earlier, but I'll say it again now. I honestly think the Saudi Arabian crowds in the last 18 months to 3 years, right, have genuinely become better than the US crowds. I genuinely think they are louder now than the average US crowd. I mean, obviously in 2019 they were next to silent, but now, like, every time, like, the reaction's just incredible. It's a night and day difference. And it does get me excited. It really, truly does. On that note, but the other interesting thing about this press conference was, of course, all the legends which were standing around to announce it, all the current wrestlers who were standing around. There was Logan Paul, there was Shawn Michaels in the background, there was Undertaker, who's now got grey hair. That's a new development, who did give a few words as well. And I mean, clearly they want this to be a massive, massive WrestleMania. I mean, Shah, do you think it's possible we could see the return of some legends? I think he's gone for a second. Dez, I'll ask you the same question.
Yeah, I do. I just gotta say, I hope it's like legends that can still go. You know what I mean? Like, I love Undertaker, I love Shawn Michaels, I like Triple H, but like they can't go anymore. You know what I mean? So please don't force them to like go wrestle. But if it's like The Rock, I'm not going to lie, I was really impressed with The Rock in WrestleMania 40, where I actually think that if you gave him time, he could put on a really solid match, right? Maybe Stone Cold, right? I know his kneecaps are kind of shot, but he did have a little bit of brawl with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 38. But when it comes to Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, I don't know. I feel like we kind of already saw the story with those guys. What about you, Ben? What other legends would you say that would potentially be part of this event?
I really hope, I mean, like I said, we saw Undertaker. I agree with you. I really hope we do not see Undertaker at this event, right? I want him to be done. That Boneyard match was the perfect send-off for him.
I agree.
But I definitely do think we're going to see The Rock. I think this is when we do see The Rock, whether it's The Rock Roman or The Rock Cody. I think this will be The Rock's retirement match. This show will be that. And I'm sure, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if like a Goldberg comes out of retirement as well.
Please, no. Stop. I don't want that. I don't want Goldberg.
This is the best opportunity to give us that match that we deserved, that Cody Rhodes ruined. The Rock versus Roman Reigns.
Cody Rhodes ruined?
Yeah, he ruined it.
Oh, with the finish, right? Okay.
Yeah, his story just had to be told. I'm being like,
okay, Clark.
Yeah, I know,
takes
Clark's
a day off, and Shah decides to do his best Clark impression.
The spirit is still alive within the Clark spirit is still alive. Even though he's not on the show, his Cody hate infects all of us equally.
Absolutely. I mean, Podcast Grifter Podcast says with Triple H's booking, the Saudi shows are to be taken seriously and not just glorified house shows. That is very true, right? Because this big shift we saw in it. I mean, I will actually say, to be fair, it did happen a couple of times when Vince, at the end of Vince's reign as well.
Like when they did the
after the pandemic.
Queen of the Ring tournament, honestly, like they had like significant matches on there. But I mean, let's just keep giving Triple H credit. He does everything good. He's gonna solve world hunger.
Shard's coming in today with just some heat. Save that for the next topic, because trust me, we are going to get fired up on that one. I mean, people are saying WWE sold out. I mean, that's not the only difference here is it's gone to a different country, which is not America. They've gone to whoever bids the highest every year.
Hold up. They do premium live events there all the time. So now they sold out is because it's a WrestleMania? That's where these comments and these fans' moral compass just goes in the trash? Newsflash. WrestleMania is the same type of event as Backlash, as SummerSlam, as Crown Jewel. They're premium live events. Just because it's WrestleMania, now it's they sold out. Their moral compass to you should have been gone once they did a show with Saudi Arabia out the gate. So let's stop that. I'm so tired of people just if you've been watching every WrestleMania while there was shows in Saudi Arabia, then you can watch the WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia.
Exactly.
Fair.
Bang on. I could not agree with you more there, Shard. I mean, it is a thing where I do think to some fans, I mean, look, I will say this. I do think to some fans, WrestleMania kind of goes hand in hand with America. There's always the American national anthem at the start, and I think that's kind of why some fans are struggling to kind of get to grips with it. I do think it would have been different if it was London, but again, Saudi paid the most money. These fans deserve it. Very short flight from India, 3-hour flight, $240 flight, right? Really good. And those fans who have dreamed of attending a WrestleMania can now attend them. The Atomic Merp agrees with you, Shard. Let know. So does the podcast, Grifters podcast, as well. And Jesse Hyde says London, France, and Indy will get Mania in the future because WWE and TKO isn't focused on Vegas and Saudi for Mania events. Only in the future. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm slightly confused by that message. I think they meant to say won't get Mania in the future. But no, these places will get Manias in the future. I'm sure of it. I think France is a harder sell, to be honest with you. I do think that one will be harder than London because London does have much better international transport. France is good too, but there are issues when it comes to it's not as easy to travel around the city. The metro isn't as good as the London one. Podcast Grifter podcast says Sadiq Khan wants Mania in London. Yes, they do. The issue is it's not that he won't pay. The issue here, right, is that the UK government allots a certain money to London for international events. And they are currently not giving the thumbs up to pay WWE what they want to be paid. Sadiq Khan wanted to do it through London, right? So it would be London making the bid, not the UK making the bid. So I don't know, right? I hope it happens in the future, but it's difficult financially. But at the end of the day, the UK have won bids for the World Cup before. We've won bids before for the Olympics. So we can afford it. But you just got to justify to the government that, hey, you're going to earn your money back here. That is the important thing. If that can be justified, they'll put in the bid. And I really do expect at this point before Mania 50, we will see one in London. But up next, we are going to move on because there is a little bit of a controversy, another controversy going around at the minute. And this is that the WWE, the TKO, COO, Mark Shapiro we did a business conference this week, and in that business conference, the TKO COO, Mark Shapiro, revealed that they want to continue to increase WWE ticket prices. Now, there's a rumor going around that after TKO are in the green, after they pay off this debt they're in, then suddenly tickets will become cheaper. He shut that down and said, no, they are actually going to go up in price. He said that Vince McMahon priced events for families, whereas they want to, like the UFC do, price it at a much higher rate because there will still be demand for them and obviously they will earn a lot more money. I think Mark Shapiro, I think Nick Khan are incredible businessmen. They understand business fantastically well. There's no denying it. But do they understand the wrestling business? That is my question here, because for decades, basically for the history of wrestling, the way it's worked is kids attend the events, kids then get into wrestling, then they grow out of it for a few years, then they get back into it as adults, then they introduce their kids to it, and the cycle continues. Now, of course, there are some exceptions to that rule. Maybe some kids just flick on the TV and see it, but a lot of people attend events when they are young and are some of their fondest memories, and that is something which has made the wrestling fan base as hardcore as it is today. And by doing this, yes, you are making a quick buck, but will you be making money in 20, 30 years' time? Or will you be losing a lot of fan base at that time? I'm going to be honest, I'm really worried about this. And I think if they continue to raise ticket prices, I think it's a massive, massive mistake for the WWE. Shard, what are your thoughts on this?
I totally agree with you on that, Ben. I think it is a standpoint where they are thinking entirely too much of the business model that UFC runs. Like you said, the fan base, the consumers for pro wrestling and the UFC are completely different, right? The UFC is an older fan base, people around our age and up, where you have pro wrestling, like you mentioned, it's a family affair, man. It's something that a lot of people take, their kids, and WWE has definitely been a big proponent on catering to children, selling merchandise to children, the whole nine, man. Like it starts from when I was a kid, you was a kid, all of that. And for them to kind of step away from that when in this economy, it's a little bit more difficult and you price stuff out high like that, you do risk the issue of selling out arenas, having high ticket sales, flaunting all of these big things that they're doing now. It becomes a little bit more of a troublesome thing. It becomes situations where fans may not actively go there on a weekly basis if it's a TV show, PLEs, and I think they do kind of need to find the middle ground. Obviously, I get it. You want to make the foundation of money, but they were making record sales once they bought the company and they just had a hot product. And sometimes I feel like if they can continue to just give us a hot product, give us these great superstars and price it at a fair standpoint, maybe it don't got to be dirt cheap, but at a fair standpoint, it could benefit the consumers. But when you do stuff like that, yeah, it becomes more of we're looking at that business model and whatnot. But I mean, the thing is this, man, pro wrestling is pro wrestling. The WWE is the WWE. They have the casualty to do this. That's why I'm a big proponent to, wrestling fans. Go support these independent promotions, man. $10, $15, you can see some of the best wrestlers in the world in a family environment, a lot more personal. Other smaller companies, their ticket prices may be a little bit cheaper, Support them, man. Go with these alternatives. Don't let one promotion box you out of enjoying pro wrestling if you can't financially be able to afford it. So
I mean, honestly, very, very true there, Shad. I do agree. I think that is why, to be honest, this entire thing, I think, could be a positive for AEW because their events are significantly cheaper to attend as well. And, I mean, they're not cheap still. They still, cost decent prices, but they're a lot cheaper in comparison, and you get the same feel. So, I mean, look, Clark always says it, and we always kind of laugh at him a little bit when he does, but he says in 20, 30 years, AEW will be competing head-to-head with WWE. And look, I mean, who knows? Maybe with the fact that younger fans attending events, just maybe that could happen. But I do want to touch upon something really quick here, because we actually did a poll with wrestling fans asking them if they thought TKO were overcharging for wrestling tickets now, if the tickets were too expensive. And there was just under 680 votes here. And only 28 people said no. That means 96% of wrestling fans think WWE are charging too much when it comes to ticket prices. I mean, that is just crazy. Fernando Zayas, the majority of wrestling fans have a very blue-collar fan base and are not going to be able to afford these prices, and it will damage the business eventually. I do agree there. Ben Corbett says, feels like clear the debt move. They've now confirmed officially, TKO's Mark Shapiro has confirmed it's got nothing to do with them being in debt. They're going to continue to charge this much and continue to rise it after they are out of debt. So they are going to continue to charge a lot of money for it. Fernando doesn't think Clark is off base saying that. And DCX Warlord says, for TKO, it's now about quantity over quality. Podcast Grifter Podcast, WWE fans are like Hydra. If one doesn't buy a ticket, someone else will buy them. I don't get that reference at all.
I kind of do. It's more. I kind of do in a way, but not really.
Shad, you get it.
Hydra. I thought it was a soccer reference. I thought that's what you was like.
I've no clue. Absolutely no clue.
I don't know. I just try to get a comment some light, man. Don't put me on the spot like that.
Shout out Ben Corbett as well over on Instagram saying he loves our comment. Thank you so much for wrestling. For what? Thank you so much for wrestling. Thank you so much for watching. I'm all over the place today. It's been a long day. But up next, guys, we do have to talk about another story because Paige, the artist formerly known as Saraya in AEW, has confirmed that she wants to return to WWE as Paige. She said that she is ready to return to that gimmick, to return to the WWE. But specifically to bring back the Paige that we saw in NXT. That level of wrestling, she wants to get back there. She said she's been training a lot and she feels like she is ready now. But the question, Des, which I have for you, is do WWE need her? Or let me rephrase that. Would she be beneficial for WWE?
I don't really know, to be honest, because I actually had a discussion about this yesterday because my friends were like, oh, AJ Lee and Paige, them coming back and be a tag team would be cool. And which I agree because they had the whole frenemy storyline. My thing is, after the whole AJ thing is, what's next for Paige? You know what I mean? Because I feel like she's already done a good amount. And another thing, too, when she did have that injury, there was like, I'm pretty sure like she could have came back earlier, but they just had nothing for her to do. So I just don't want it to be a situation where it's okay, we'll have her wrestle, and then all right, we're gonna make her a manager, then we're gonna make her the general manager, and then she just becomes a mouthpiece instead of an actual wrestler. So I don't really know if it's gonna help benefit them. Does WWE need them? No, because to be honest, WWE doesn't really need anybody because it's a spoke on the wheel. They have so many big names on there, and it's not me like trying to put anybody down. It's just that's just how it is. WWE has some of the best stars in the entire world when it comes to professional wrestling. That if one person leaves, someone's going to step up and take that spot. It's just business nature. But I mean, it'd be cool to see her come back. I just don't know like how limited she would be because even in AEW when she came back, it was cool because she had the little feud with Britt Baker. But then it was like, all right, now she's kind of lost in the shuffle. I guess I just don't want to see her get lost in the shuffle. What about you guys? What would you say?
If I'm being honest, Des, what I kind of want to happen is I want her to kind of just not disappear, but disappear from wrestling for about a year. And then in a year's time, come back, return at maybe the 2027 Royal Rumble, and I mean, hey, maybe even win the entire thing, right? Because I'm a big fan of Paige. I've been a big fan of Paige for her entire career. Her AEW run did not go to plan. In ring, she was nowhere near as good as she originally was, and it was the same when she came back from injury in WWE. But she says her neck is completely fine now. She's literally recovered from everything. So if she takes some time away, takes some time to really practice, to train, to get back into that shape she was once in the ring, I reckon she can do that. And I still think she has quite a few years left to do that in wrestling. Because she's only 33 now, right? If she comes back at 34, I mean, look, she's got at least like a decade. Honestly, right? We're seeing Nikki Bella return now around that age. I really do think there's a lot more we can see from Paige in professional wrestling. I truly do. I mean, Shad, I know you kind of feel a strong way here.
Yeah, I want Paige to, step away from the world of pro wrestling and just not come back to pro
Oh
wrestling.
my gosh. That's horrible. That's mean.
Okay. That was a little harsh. Look, I'll be honest with you. I'm vocal about it, man. I was not a fan of Saraya in AEW at all. I think the best thing was the fact that she had that little moment in the UK at All Out and or All In, and that was awesome. But besides that, the in-ring work is pedestrian. She's not really moving me on the mic too much. I don't think she has a strong presence or character that she's had before. I just think it's one of those situations where it's unfortunate. I feel like time was taken away from her, obviously due to injury. But the allure of Paige was that she was Roxanne Perez. She was the young prodigy. She was so good at such a good age.
Yeah,
she's not that no more, right? She's not gonna be able to be the young star no more because she's, like you mentioned, she's in her 30s now, right? The wrong side of 30 is always the term in pro sports. You can say a little bit of the same in pro wrestling. The other aspect of it,
I do want to just say this though. I say about LA Knight when he's in his early 40s, and yes, I know it's different with women, but there are still so many women's wrestlers who are mid-40s wrestling. She has genuinely a lot more time left than LA Knight does.
Yeah,
Which is true.
But she's not at the talent level of what LA Knight is right now. Like that's
Right now,
just
I agree.
that's just the truth. And the thing is this though, like how many nostalgia like pops do we need to keep adding into this division, right? Like AJ Lee, I think, is the last big one that you can do. Like I think her and the Bellas, you can kind of end it at there. Like unless Trish wants to do a full-time run or Lita wants to do a full-time run, or like Mickey James, right? If Mickey James wanted to come back, that's someone who's a legend, but she can still work at a high quality level, and she can like show that she's able to talk on a high quality level. I don't know what Paige does. And this is another thing. I think Dez said it best. Like you add her into the roster now, she's not even in the top 20 women on that roster. Like that's just how stacked the roster is. That's not even disrespecting her.
No, you're right. That's not a diss to her. That's just a straight fact.
Yeah, it's just
it's when she came to AEW, it was to me it felt like it was a bit of a CM Punk factor, or like not CM Punk factor, like a Daniel Bryan factor, right? Danielson came back.
It was a big get.
It was a big get, especially, and then the big get. I say a little bit of CM Punk is because we didn't know she would wrestle again, right?
Yeah,
she came back and she came to the landscape of wrestling, but yeah, man, like I just don't think she's at that level. It would be cool. I mean, I think she wants to come back home, and I would give her maybe a potential like part-time deal, a Legends deal, something like that, just because she has a sentimental value to the company for what she's done. But it's like, I don't know, man. If you're asking me as a full-time performer, like how I would assume AJ Lee is, like it's levels, man. I really like Paige as a person, man. I think she's I've listened to a lot of her podcasts and stuff. She seems like a delightful person, but like you're not AJ Lee. AJ Lee is still like, it's like she hasn't even missed.
But you say that though.
But she's
Paige
not
was a better performer than AJ Lee was when they were wrestling.
Yeah, that's fair. But I just don't feel like now
we haven't seen
different.
AJ Lee.
Well, I don't know how AJ Lee is going to be as a wrestler. That's
what I mean.
The funny thing is that me and my one of my coworkers who's a big pro wrestling fan, we were talking about that. He's like, it feels big time. He's like, but I got to see how that match is. Yeah. He's like, because it could be like how Nikki Bella was this past match, and it could be like, oh, because that's a different era.
She looked great this past week. She looked great then.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think I'm. Look, man, anything can happen. I think to AJ Lee's credit, I think she's gonna want to. A lot of these, past superstars are gonna want to come back and have a moment like that. Like, WWE, man, I gotta give them credit to that point. They're, and I'm gonna talk about it this week on the podcast about women's wrestling. But like, they're making women's wrestling like really cool right now. Like,
yeah.
If you're a women's superstar, you like are just itching to want to go to the WWE because you get an opportunity to wrestle some of the biggest stars in pro wrestling right now, and they're in that division. So kudos to them.
Absolutely. Make sure to check out Wrestling Republic's podcast every Monday here on the Wrestling Republic YouTube channel, where Shad will be talking about that. But the other thing I will just very quickly add to this point is, I do agree with you on there's just no space for her right now. That's the issue. And the Legends roles are already filled, so just wait a year. I don't think this AJ Lee deal, I mean, it is a few years, but I don't reckon she's going to be in a huge position in a year from now. I reckon there will be a space that opens up, and I reckon Paige could fill it then. But the Atomic Merp agrees with you, Shard. Podcast Grifter says Batista was in his 40s when he became big in WWE. If she's healthy, she can definitely contribute. DCX Warlord says Saraya versus Oscar and Saraya versus Kyrie. Two very fun matches I'd like to see there. Podcast Grifter's podcast says if Paige becomes like a player coach, she can probably contribute. And Fernando says, I was a fan of Paige, but I think the wrestling landscape has passed her by. Up next, it's not a Wednesday, but we're going to do a Mount Rushmore anyway, because I thought it's just the perfect end to today's episode. And this is going to be a Mount Rushmore of dream WrestleMania cities, which have never, ever had a WrestleMania before, right? That's the big thing here. This city has never had a WrestleMania. So I'm going to start, then it's going to go to Shad, then it's going to go to Dez, and then it's going to be a snake draft. It'll go back to Dez, back to Shad, and then back to me. So without further ado, here is a Mount Rushmore of the dream WrestleMania cities. I am going to kick us off by taking London. Of course I am. I mean, literally close to me, no brainer. What about you, Shad?
Well, if you are going to be a homer, Ben, I am going to be a homer because I want WrestleMania in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.
Wow. Has it never taken place in Washington, D.C.?
I don't think it has. No.
Wow. Okay. They need to do, I mean, WrestleMania 50, I'm going to be honest. I think that could be a contender for that. Nation's capital. I mean, I'd want to go just to see the capital, to be completely honest with you guys. What about you, Dez?
All right, I'm also going to be a homer. I'm going to go at Foxborough, Massachusetts, which is Gillette Stadium. Now, WrestleMania 14 was in Massachusetts, but it was in a Boston Garden, so it's different. I'm talking about the big pack stadium in Gillette.
Fair enough. Is Foxborough a city?
Yes.
There we are. The count. There's your backup.
All right, next we're going to go at Montreal, Canada. I feel like Montreal, Canada, hosting a WrestleMania would be fantastic. Toronto did host one at WrestleMania 18, but you have that Montreal crowd. I feel like it'd be an all-timer.
Absolutely a fantastic shout, no doubt about that. DCX Warlord says, even though it's not a Wednesday, it's an earned one because we didn't do one last Wednesday. That is true. Shad, what are you taking as your second pick?
Let's go to Tokyo, man. Let's go Tokyo, Japan. You know pro wrestling lives out there, man. A Mania in Japan in Tokyo would be big time.
Fantastic shout, no doubt about it. Up next, I'm going to take the Liberty Stadium, Swansea, Wales. It'd probably fall down. Dreadful stadium, but it's right next to my house. So, I mean, obviously, from a biased perspective, I would absolutely love that to happen. But in the event that stadium's not good enough, I'll then take Cardiff, the Millennial, or now the Principality Stadium. Again, Wales, only an hour from me. So very, very easy. Shad, what about you?
WrestleMania in India. Let's do it, man. India is a big time hub for a market. They love pro wrestling. They have a big population of people that can attend this event. Let's go to India.
Great shout, but I will say you need to pick a city in India.
All right, let's do was it New Delhi? What's the capital of India?
I think that I have two answers. I think it's New Delhi.
You know, it is, yeah.
I have no idea, to be honest with you. But Des,
yes,
what about
New
you?
Delhi.
New Delhi? All right, we have the confirmation. All right, I'm going to go with Paris, France. I feel like that would also be an all-timer of a show.
I'm going to be honest. I'm shocked that that's waited until the third round to get taken because that is a big one.
I had that one. I had Lyon, too, but I feel like it's too small. So I think Paris would be bigger.
I mean, I've never been to Lyon. I have no idea. But Paris, undoubtedly a good shout. Des, it's back to you. What is your final pick?
All right, I'm going to go with one that's been rumored for a long time for my buddies in Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Fair enough. Great pick. What about you, Shad? What's your final pick?
Oh, man. It's the last one. Sorry. So I have one in the U.S. I got two international. Let's do WrestleMania in Toronto, Canada.
It's happened.
They already did that one already.
It does happen.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah.
You are right. Let's act like I did not say that.
That's a massive L considering. I mean, you must have watched that WrestleMania.
I'm limited on what cities I can think of right now. Let's go with Sydney, Australia.
Okay. I don't hate that one at all.
Okay. I like that.
And Podcast Grifter said at the same time as you as well.
Look at that. Great minds think alike.
Great shout. I mean, there's a few other shouts from TR who says WrestleMania on Mars, WrestleMania in Antarctica.
Right.
I mean, great shouts there.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm tripping. It has been in Toronto. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. It's a great WrestleMania too.
The Atomic Moob says Ireland, Japan, England, India. And DCX Warlord says London and Wembley, Australia, Arsenal Stadium, and Tokyo with some Noah talent. All great shouts. For my final pick, I mean, the government were all big on leveling up a few years ago. Nothing really happened about it. So, hey, let's do it with WWE. I'm going to take Manchester, England. So there we are. I mean, literally, that reference only people in the UK will understand too. But they were going to fund tons of stuff in Manchester, and it just never really happened.
I didn't even realize
but there we
Progress
are.
Grifter is Coach 23, by the way. What's good, bro? I didn't even realize you was.
Oh, I knew that. I knew that.
There you
I
go.
didn't know that. What's good, man?
Sydney
Oh,
is
man,
my
I should
boy.
have said Manila in the Philippines.
No, yeah, that's a good shot too.
Oh, he meant to say Shari is his boy, and instead he said Sydney is my boy.
See, they
That
still knew
is
though
gold.
because he knew Shad was going to say Sydney, Australia. It was that connection through the comments.
Yeah, there we are. It's just
Good to
mutual,
good to
just
see you,
telepathic.
my boy.
But somebody's asking our thoughts on WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. I mean, look, check out earlier in this video, we spoke about it, but the gist of it is that, look, it's different, it's a change, but it's very exciting for the fans in Asia. And I think the atmosphere is going to be absolutely incredible. But that does bring us to the end of an action-packed, chaotic episode of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. We will be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. So make sure to check us out there. Thank you, Shad. Thank you, Dez. And also, quick reminder, Allison Analysis will be returning to the Wrestling Republic YouTube channel starting tomorrow with the SmackDown review. We will see you guys then. Peace.